Hello YouTube, this is Glenys from Craft Room Secrets, and I'm here to share with you my latest completed project. This is for the Graphic 45, actually for my blog, but it's probably gonna be posted on the Graphic 45 social media. This is my October project, and this is my completed Steampunk spell collection album. And I'm not gonna call it a mini album, this is actually a big album, and I wanted to share it with you all. Long story, or sad story I should say, I completed this project about 5 or 6 years ago, and this was one of my favorite albums that I did. It was one of my most ambitious projects, and I was having at that time my craft room in the garage at the lower level of my house, and one day there was a water incident and this album got damaged, part of it. So I was so sad, especially because this collection is retired. Now that I became brand ambassador, long story short, I decided to redo this album, find some papers on eBay, and was able to redo the whole project, kind of salvage it. But of course, time passes, your knowledge evolves, some other tools and techniques that you have learned. So I pre-watched the previous video, but how I did it last time, but I still, did it kind of the way that I would have done it if I had had this collection today. The cover, I kept the same how I had it before. I just had to fix this whole area here because it was part of what got damaged, this part here. So I just fussy cutted more flowers. Thank God the lady the lady, which is the more beautiful image of this collection, was was okay because it was mounted on chipboard, and just this part got damaged. So everything, I just used the signature page from Graphic 45 and used mounted the lady in a higher level, use a lot of fussy cutting. Of course, now the binding method that I use is the method that I use most of the time now. I did use the hidden binding method, and pretty much there's a whole bunch of videos that you can I learned the same way watching videos on YouTube. A few made kind of little things in here on the side, kind of charms made with stickers and papers from the collection. And these I had it originally, I just had to back them up in paper because they got a little bit twisted with the water. So let me show you inside the album. And like I said, almost the whole inside was damaged, so I have to redo it completely. But I found a few papers in on eBay, and I was able, with a little trick, to fix the album. So this is the first page, and you can see that in this album I went fussy cutted crazy. Like, I love this paper with the flowers. This is all one paper, and just one afternoon I sat down watching TV and fussy cutted the whole the whole thing, and of course balloons. So this is one of the papers was like this, and I just thought that it was a cool thing to have the lady be like like a mysterious thing and opening. So what I did is that I cut the image in two, and this I added 2 brads right here, so to hold the pages together, some twine, and then the page will open like this, and it will reveal this insert that you can insert photos. This is up for a big 5x7 photo. I always like to do that for my albums, that I like to put the main page at the beginning. So you have a pocket where you can I use the Graphic 45 die to make all my tags, and I'm gonna show you the one that I use, actually 2 of them. This was the regular tag dies, and this one is also the square tag dies. And I'm gonna give you later on a little trick that I'm using to store my dies. So this album has a lot of space, there's a lot of photos, a lot of flaps and flips. So next page, the same flap is just a square flap that will turn like this, and this will give you, you know, another insert. And what you see on the front of the page in here is also a page in the back, so I love that. Of course, those amazing hot balloons in here, and this is one of those tabs, those graphic 45 tabs that I just embellished, and this is to put a 5x7 picture. You have in this one another flap that will open like this, and there's a little hidden spot in here for journaling, because I love having hidden journaling spots to you know, I don't like my handwriting that much, so I like to keep it hidden sometimes. So that will be page number 1. This is page number 2, and like I said, this album is a little bit fussy cutting crazy. I did a lot of fussy cutting in here, the clock, the flowers, more fussy cutting flowers on top. These images are just glorious. Like, this is what I love about this collection, and what I was so sad that I had damaged it, but now I'm so really happy that I am able, you know, to recover my album. And then you got more flaps that open. There's a lot of space for photos, and the photos that I had in this album, they were damaged, some of them, but thank God I still have them in my computer, so I'm able still to, you know, reprint them again, the ones that got damaged, and I'm able to put them, you know, back into this album. So this I'm very happy about. Every page, you know, every flap that I do is always magnetized to keep it secure, to keep it, you know, in within the album, not, you know. This is one of those graphic 45 tags. You get a lot of pockets with flaps and inserts to put a lot of pictures. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put actually some pictures from this year Halloween also, because now I have extra space where to put, you know, my pages, because I added some extra flaps that are different from the original album. And so I am able, you know, to add more pieces to it, more pictures to it. This is an extra page right here. And this, as you can see, this album, I use a lot of blacks, other colors. Like this blue paper is not from the collection. I have to stand, you know, my papers, because on eBay I didn't find that much. And you can see that throughout the album I use other papers that I had in my stash, like this one, to, you know, to make my collection, you know, papers extend. This is a hidden tag right here in this little, I just use adhesive on the side of the 4x6 card, you know, to keep my tag, be able to insert a tag in here. And everything is fussy cutted and mounted in chipboard, so most of the images, so they're, you know, they are the main attraction of this album. And here we have another insert, and this one has 2 tags that are, of course, decorated, and this one is the same. I kind of did the same thing in each side. Later on, those tags, you know, if I have extra pictures, I can still, you know, remove and just add pictures to them. In here, I did kind of something funny. I used this image in the front, and just the same thing. I use adhesive on each side, and did this. They had this image of this like book of spells, so I just added like this little bit of thread and hang this key from it, and did like a little booklet. And then I'm just keeping it kind of secure using twine. And this is just a little piece of orange twine that I had laying on my craft room, and you know, it's just attached with a little bit of adhesive in the front. So this is gonna be a little extra booklet to attach extra pages in here. So this one is just like that, and it's you know, it stays secure with this image. I'm gonna just keep it on the side. Then in the back you have an extra pocket with lots of space for pictures. This is actually a 3-pocket insert. And this is one of those older papers that I use. And this paper, I use it a lot of my projects. I love it a lot. I think it matches perfectly with all the Graphic 45 collections, and I just get it all the time in Joann stores. In here, this is another one of those, you know, tags, Graphic 45 tags that I just decorated. And this was one of the images from the collection. I just, you know, mounted it higher. And this clock is one piece of the clock dies. I just used the piece in the center. I thought that it was like, you know, Halloween bewitching hour. By the way, the Halloween is not a Graphic 45 die. It's actually, I cut this from, with my silhouette. This is another insert like this, so you know, plenty of space to put pictures, and opens like this. I think this only opens like this, yes. And then this one is the last one, and it will open like this and like this. So I have extra room galore. And this is the back of the album, and I just used a paper that I got at Joann store. I kind of that's the, you know, how I do to stand the life of my you know, of my papers. So from, I did had, let me show you, I think 6 sheets of papers from this collection, and I completed this huge album. And the only thing that I, of course, you know, I did have some, I think I had originally the sticker sheet from the collection and another extra sheet because I didn't have the one with the images, but that, you know, just using, you know, the extra sheets of any coordinating paper, you can have, you know, an amazing, beautiful album, big, so you can store your pictures. I'm gonna show you another trick, bonus in this video, and this is how I'm storing my dies, my Graphic 45 dies. I am in love with these dies. What I'm doing is, I love the packaging, and I like to keep them kind of in the packaging, but I do use the Avery L pockets to store my dies. So what I'm doing is that I am inserting a little bit of you know, magnet sheet in the actual packaging, and that way my die stays secure, and it still kind of, you know, still looks like the original packaging, but it's actually secure with magnets, so it doesn't move around. So this is a little trick if you are you know, if you have this dies that are from collections that are kind of expensive that you love, like these ones I do, you know, you can keep the original packaging and they still look like the original ones, just using a little bit of magnets. When I wanted to thank everybody for your nice comments, and thank you so much for watching and commenting on my videos. And of course, I'm gonna put pictures on my blog of more, you know, in detail pictures of this project. And this is gonna be my first October project for the Graphic 45 for my blog and for the Graphic 45 social media as brand ambassador. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great afternoon, YouTube.